So recently, I've been getting a lot more questions about the Digiboil. I've gotten more questions about trying to know when it's time to get a Digiboil, to upgrade to a Digiboil, more questions about the Digiboil, and I really wanted to make an updated video. I know I've made videos like this before in the past, but as I always mention, there's always new people coming to my channel, and not everybody goes back years on my channel to watch old videos. There's always new people coming into the candle making world. So what I want to do in this video is just answer some commonly asked questions about the Digiboil and how to know when it's time to upgrade to one. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica with Memory Box Candle Co. and I make videos all about the journey of starting a candle business. And real fast, I kind of want to turn the camera to show you. I may mess this up a little bit, but look at all of these beautifully poured candles over here. So Chris was up until 1 o'clock in the morning last night pouring candles because we are fulfilling, sorry, I'm trying to get this together. We are fulfilling all of the orders from the summer market on Fair. So all of these were poured last night. I actually came in and I helped him prep some of the jars by putting the wick holders on them. And these wick holders are from this Etsy shop right here. I always have questions about that. But these are the 13.5 ounce Cali jars from California Candle Supply. And these are all the same scent. These are all Beechwood from the Flaming Candle. This is our most popular fragrance on the Fair wholesale platform. I just wanted to show that because my goodness, the amount of candles that are on this table right now. So this back here, these are Digiboils. So let me bring this up so you can see. So we have 3 of them. And the reason why we have 3 of them is because we have 3 different kinds of waxes. So we have our Soy 10, which is our main container wax. We have beeswax, which we add in a little bit to our container wax. And then the Digiboil over there is TW30. So that is our tart wax. The reason why we don't blend or pre-blend the Soy 10 and the beeswax together inside of just one pot is because we have slightly different formulas for each of our containers that we use. So we have multiple different sizes of candles and they all have different formulas. One of them is just Soy 10, and then the 2 other sizes, we do a separate blend of the beeswax and the Soy 10 together. So by far, the most common question that I get about the Digiboil has to do with adding fragrance oil to it. How much fragrance oil should you add to the Digiboil? And my answer is please do not add any fragrance oil inside of the Digiboil. Unless you only want that Digiboil to be for that one specific scent forever, you don't want to do that. And the reason is because what the purpose of the Digiboil is for is to melt down a large amount of wax so that you can distribute it into something like a pouring pitcher, and then you mix the fragrance oil inside of the pouring pitcher. So both solidified and liquid wax weighs the exact same. So if you're used to the double boiler method and you're used to adding in solid wax or wax flakes into your pouring pitcher to weigh and get your measurements, when you switch over to liquid wax and measure that out, that can be kind of confusing because you're wondering if there's a difference. There's absolutely no difference. Both solid wax and liquid wax weighs the exact same. So by doing it this way, you're basically skipping over the step of having to wait for your set amount of wax that you weighed out to melt down into liquid form. It's already in liquid form, and all you do is have a scale under it and you measure it out to see how much wax you need, and then you put the adequate amount of fragrance in just in the pouring pitcher. You do not want to add any fragrance oil into the Digiboil itself. The second most common question I get has to do with, do you have to use all of the wax that you put inside there in one candle making session? And no, again, this is another purpose of the Digiboil. You can use a tiny amount. So basically we can heat this up, use a small amount to make a few candles, turn it off, it solidifies, we turn it back on for the next candle making session. There have been times where, let's say it's filled up to right here and you only need to make a few batches of candles. So every time you turn it on, it melts all the way, it gets to temp, you use a little bit, then you turn it off, it cools down and solidifies. So the next time you go to make candles, it's at this level and it's solidified. You turn it back on, it melts, it's all up to temp. You use a little bit more. So you don't have to worry about using all of the wax inside the Digiboil. You can leave it in there for multiple candle making sessions. You can heat it up to temp, cool it back down to a solidified state multiple different times. And we've done that a lot. So you don't have to worry about using all of the wax in there. Again, that's the point of the Digiboil, is to be able to have this large amount of wax and only use what you need during your candle making session. So you may have been trying to figure out if you should just go all in and get a Digiboil for your business, if you're even ready to be able to hold 50 pounds of wax at one time. And I think the best way to ask yourself this question and figure out if this is right for you is if you find yourself with your current method, which maybe you've gone from the double boiler method to a Presto pot, which is what I personally did, and you are finding that you are having to refill the Presto pot multiple times in your candle making session, then it's probably time for you to upgrade to a Digiboil. Ideally, during your candle making session, you want to have to stop and refill as little as possible. Now, with the scale of candles that we do, there are quite a few times where Chris does have to basically refill it all the way to the top and wait for that to melt to continue pouring candles. And if we could, we would probably have two Digiboils specifically for Soy 10 for that reason. But as you can see, we're pretty much at limit for how many of these we can fit on this table right here. Actually, you know what? I bet we could. I bet we could squeak some to the side. Who knows? But I don't know if the power in this small room would be able to hold that. But that is the thought process there, is if you are wasting time having to wait for your candles to heat up, it would be a good idea for you to invest in a Digiboil, because the thought process is you are trying to make candles in the most quickest, fast, and efficient way that you possibly can, and a Digiboil is able to do that. Yes, you do have to wait quite a long time, sometimes upwards of 2, 3, 4 hours, depending on how much wax you have in the Digiboil for it to get up to temperature. But once you're actually pouring candles, the quicker you can go about doing that and making as many candles as you can within that time, the more efficient your time is going to be, and technically the more money you're saving, because you can make more candles in less time. You also want to think about the space. Do you have space for a very large wax melter? So here is, just for size comparison, you don't know how long my arm is. I'm trying to see. So this is a 4-pound pouring pitcher. So probably about 3 of these. So it's not like gigantic, but it is pretty large. So you have to think about, do you have the space to have one of these really large Digiboils? But I think that is all that I wanted to talk about in this video. I will have a link. I do have an affiliate link to a company now where you can get a Digiboil. So I will have that down in the pinned comment below if this is something that you're interested in getting. But with that, feel free to leave any comments in the comment section below if there is anything I didn't answer or you still have questions on. I will also have linked above another video where I went through and answered a lot of questions about the Digiboil, but I just wanted to reiterate this because, again, I have been getting a lot of questions lately about it. But with that, I am going to end today's video right here. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave this video a big thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram at MemoryBoxCandleCo. And I will see you in my next video.